Hi, you two. So, our English today is following on from yesterday's story plan. So, what I would say is before you do this English, look back at your plan in your pack and talk to somebody that's with you about what was happening in each stage of your story because that's what we do in classes, isn't it? Okay? So, I'll recap what was happening in my story first of all, because today you're going to write your story using your plan. Okay? So, in my story, I was the character. It was set in a Kenyan village. My problem was there had been no sun for weeks, which meant the crops weren't growing correctly. The well was flooding because instead of there being lots of sun, there was lots of rain in mine. Mine's the opposite of Lila and the rain. So the wells were flooding, which wouldn't be very good for the crops either. And I couldn't go out because it was always cold, it was always raining. So I could pop that in my story today. My solution, Mrs. Westwell climbs to the top of the mountain and tells the sky the happiest stories and the happiest memories she's got. So I'm going to tell them of waking up on Christmas morning and seeing that Santa had been and left all my presents. I'm going to tell the sky of the time I was at school with my friends and we were all laughing and giggling. I'm going to think of lots of happy memories that will make the sky smile so the sun will come out. Okay, so once you've reminded yourself of your plan, you're going to write it on the paper that you've got in your pack. Okay, the rainbow paper. What I want you to think about when you're writing your story is just like we would do in class. So obviously I want to be seeing capital letters and full stops. So capital letters to start your sentences or for names or places, and full stops at the end of your sentences. That is for everybody should be doing that. I've also put a 2AD sentence, so that's two adjectives. So things like scorching hot sun. Okay. Think about how you can get those in, maybe at the start, in the middle, and in your solution. Okay. I want you to be thinking about some connectives. So I've put suddenly on my board. You could have suddenly, next, first, after that. Okay, so some connectives that show your story are moving on. Handwriting is worth a lot of marks when I'm looking at your writing. So be thinking about sitting it on the line, your joins, and reading it back. So if you can't read it back to your adult, cross it out and write it again. Okay. Think about getting an exclamation mark in. So an exclamation mark is used when you're shouting or excited, isn't it? So you could definitely have that in when your character gets to the top of the mountain and the sun or the rain or the thunder or the snow comes because they would be excited. Wow, said Mrs. Westwell. Then think about a boy sentence, okay? So if you remember, a boy sentence is but, or, yet, or so. So if you want to jot those down if you've forgotten, but, or, yet, or so. You only need to get one in. So it could be Mrs. Westwell really wanted the sun to come, but it had been weeks and it still wasn't there. So I've got button. Try and get one of those in your writing. And then a simile would be really good. So a simile is when you compare two nouns, isn't it? And you can use as or like. We've done these before, so I put the floor was as hot as lava. Okay, the sky was like a big grey blanket. The clouds were like candy floss. You're comparing two things using as or like. It just makes your writing sound more exciting, okay? So I want you to use your plan. Use some of these pointers to make your writing sound really impressive and put your story into a proper story now with a beginning, a middle, and an end, okay? Just like Lila and the Rain, it doesn't have to be super long, okay? It can just be your introduction, so where they live, describe where they live. What's the problem? and then what's the solution. Okay, like always, you can write it, take a picture, put it on Seesaw Class Dojo, or you can just hand it in with your pack if you want to film yourself reading your story out like we do in class sometimes. That would also be wonderful. I'm really excited to listen to these. Enjoy story writing.